And just like that, August 27th, 2026, Thursday, one more day to the final Panthers preseason game. Happens to be my birthday today, 43 years old. No idea that I would make it this long. Where I'm from, you don't really make it too far in life without having catastrophic issues. I've made it this far. Let's not dampen that spirit. Let's keep it going. Welcome, everybody, to Charts After Dark. If you haven't done so, please go hit like. It's free. Costs nothing. It didn't ding. Why didn't it ding? Well, that sucks. Hold on a second. Maybe you guys heard it, but I didn't hear it. Anyway, let's put the jazz on. I'm going to have to reset it afterwards. But please, if you would do me a solid, go over there, hit like, hit subscribe. It costs absolutely nothing. It's free to do so. While you're there, hey man, check it out. We got tons of videos, tons of stuff to look at. What you're going to see here is what we do always. In case you don't know what we do charts, data, and more charts and more data. We keep it real, or we keep it to ourselves. Here's what we use. This is our list of instructional videos. It's very simple to follow. If you don't know what we're doing and you're confused, well, here you go. Bam. It's in the chat right now. This list is totally free. Start at the top, work your way down in sequence, bang, bang, bang. It'll teach you how to use TradingView, which is what you see on the screen right now. And from there, it'll teach you the very basics of technical analysis that works for every single tradable asset known to humans. Now, let's get down to some charts real quick. Let's say hey to everybody. What's up, Squad? What's up, Will Daddy? What's up, Bo? What's up? Good to see you, brother. What's up, Cheese? Appreciate it, fellas and ladies. What's up, Cody? What's up, Cody? Good to see you. What's up, Miss Kelly Slade? How you doing? How you doing? All right, so without wasting a bunch more time, I've got Bitcoin pulled up on the screen on the weekly chart, and I've got the weekly 50 moving average highlighted. As you see, we are pressed up against the weekly 50 moving average and stuck on it. Now, this is an interesting spot because one, we have not swept the high just yet, meaning we have not wiped all of the shorts out. We have come close to wiping the shorts out, but we have not wiped all the shorts out. Here's the view on the daily. Makes it a little easier to see. Right here is where the shorts started piling in. And we got very close, but we didn't get there just yet. So far, just like when we were down here at this range, so far, this is just a high sweep. What I'm thinking we get is one of these moves where it tries, doesn't make it, and then goes. All right, cool. How long will that take? Well, it could last all the way over here till the end of the year. That's the problem. If this thing happens to slow down, which I think it will, and it starts to roll over, it's going to be something like this on the way back down. We can measure this since it's hitting the weekly 50 moving average. Right? We can clearly see it right there. Orange line marks resistance as well. It's running into resistance as well. We could draw this a little bit more closely and say, oh no, you need to move this up a little bit. Fine. You could even move it up to here. Fine. I'll only leave it where I had it. I think I'm pretty close with it. It's not perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be close. We also have head and shoulders forming up right here. You can argue with the brick wall. It's there. You could even draw it back here. Doesn't matter. It's all a head and shoulders. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's a very bearish pattern. That would mean that we have more down left. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It means it's very possible it happens. And if it does happen, you better brace for impact. We can measure how far things down might go. So let's go back to where we started this, which was right here when we got a jump over the 821 EMA, which you'll see on the screen in a second. Bam, there you go. That 821 EMA got jumped. When we got jumped, we took straight off in the air, and we haven't really slowed down since. All right. We can measure from there, which was the start of our run, to where we are now, assuming that this is the top. It might not be. We can assume it may be. We'll pull that to the very tip top from the bottom to the top. Now, I don't know that this is the actual top yet. Could actually go a little bit more and wipe those highs. Could stop right here and turn around immediately. We don't have the answer to that. And as such, let's not try to guess. Let's assume that it is. And if it isn't, we'll just move it up as we go until we find the top. Here are our levels on the way back down. 76.6 would be the 236 fib. Then 73.7 would be the 382 fib. And these are mathematical waypoints on the way back down. All right. 71.450, call it 71.5, would be the 50 fib. We would be looking for our bounce to start through here. That would be halfway down from the origin. All right. That's the 50 fib, aka 50%. Next, the golden pocket. It often gets hit, especially with Bitcoin, and that level is 69.260 to 67.5-ish, roughly. All right. If that doesn't hold, then things get gnarly. 66 to 64 is back down to the 786, 886 level. We don't know that that will happen yet, but let's say things get terrible, like really bad, terrible. Here are our levels if they get really bad, terrible. 58, 56, 53. Does that mean they're going to happen? No. And with the authority that this move had, the speed that it had, and the move that it's made, honestly, it jumps off the page to me like it doesn't want to stop. It wants to keep going here. I would appreciate the fact that if it stopped and turned around, because I wouldn't like a total idiot if this thing just took off and went to 100,000 tomorrow. I don't think that's going to happen. I do think it will slow down. You can't have this fast of a move. It's a bit unsustainable. If we flip back to our daily and look at our MACD and RSI. There we go. Hit the wrong button. Our divergence is still somewhat the same. However, we are losing by volume slowly. We are slowly, steadily losing by volume. What's up, Joshua? And if we look at our RSI, we are still screaming hot overbought. You can see this. It's not that complicated. When something is overbought, what do you generally do with it? When you have too many lawnmowers, you sell some lawnmowers, you get rid of them. If you don't have a lawnmower and you need one, what do? You go buy one. That would be oversold. We're overbought. We're overbought. We have too many mowers. We need to get rid of some. Give it the own metaphor that you need to give it. But the point is, when it's that overbought, be careful. Now, I will say this. Earlier today's close was another new high. It's very impressive run that it's putting on right now. It's a heck of a show, and I'm glad to admit it. I'm hoping that it can keep up for everybody, because it'd be really, really nice if everybody could make some gains off of this and get some profits. The problem is most of you won't take profits. And I know this because it's standard practice for everybody to get all in their feelings when they see a little bit of green and think that everything's going to be good all of a sudden. That's not really how it works. You can tell people that over and over again. They just won't listen to you. And that's just par for the course. I'm used to it. All right. Weekly still has a ton of room to go if it wanted to. It's got to get through that weekly 50 moving average first. I'm not convinced. Looking at the Ichimoku cloud, we're still underneath the cloud. We're still red on the cloud. We do have the lag line over the candle, so we got one thing that's green. But the problem is our our baseline and conversion line also hasn't crossed, so we're 3 out of the 4 negative on the weekly. This thing very well could simply just drag its feet. And I do think it will have some sort of a low here coming up on Q4. Right, we're still in Q3 right now. January, February, March is the first one. April, May, June is your second quarter. July, August, September is your third quarter. And your fourth quarter starts in October. All right, we're not there yet. We have a whole nother month to go. Can this thing sustain? Yeah, man. I don't like seeing things that stretched out. I don't think it's sustainable. I'm hoping it is, but I don't think it will be. I think this thing's going to start to slow down here. And I think we'll go back to the 60s for at least a visit. How far in the 60s? Well, it's to be determined. We don't really know that yet. And we can chart it as we go. Once we see a defined turnaround, that'll be the point where I go, okay, here we go. We haven't seen that defined turnaround yet. She's still on her way up, which is incredible. Yep, Josh, 43 today. 43, a little older, a little balder, a little grayer. I did shave so I didn't look so gray. I took my wife out for my birthday. That's how it works. It's all good though. I think we started that at about 1330 for Bitcoin there. And then we'll go on to the next. We'll go right into the next one, which I think is worth talking about. So Bitcoin continues to lead the way. And I'm going to do XRP here, but the first thing I want to show you is Bitcoin dominance. And it's important to see this. Even though we're about to talk about XRP, Bitcoin dominance continues to trend upwards. Doesn't want to give up. Look at this Bitcoin dominance weekly chart. Didn't mean to draw that. Pull this down, scroll over. Here we go. Resistance from way back in the day, all the way back over here to 2017. That's how long this orange line has been contentious. And sure enough, it's still doing it today. We did have a breakout. Bitcoin dominance continues to reign supreme over the rest of the market. So every altcoin, which is everything but Bitcoin that I talk about here in the next couple minutes, is going to be a but Bitcoin's in charge kind of scenario. And that's just all there is to it. XRP dominance. It did break trend, but look what it did, an immediate bearish engulf. It did go back to the trend line though, which is kind of all right. It's still on the 8 EMA, has kind of thrown a hammer candle yesterday. That's good. And if you look at the weekly, she came up, she smacked that weekly 50 moving average, and she rejected back to the 821 EMA. Has it done this before? The hell you say? Let's go back and check the charts. Here is August 2022. It actually broke the weekly 50 moving average before rejecting it back down all the way into the new year. This is January right here. So can it hang out with the weekly 50 moving average? Well, that would be cool. How about back in the day a little farther? Here is August 2018. In September, what does it do? It shoots up through the 50 moving average, and then over the rest of the course of the fall and into the winter, kind of maintains. At the beginning of the year, falls off. Right? Here is all the way back in 2015. She jumps up, hits the 50 moving average, and gets rejected until the end of the year. Point being here, this has happened in the past, and it's played around with this 50 moving average before. Can it hold it? Don't know. We'll see. I like the fact that it's still over it now. This is a little bit of a gnarly sell pressure that's got on the top of it here after hitting that green box of doom. Hopefully it can turn the corner back to the chart for it. All right, here we go. Looking back out to the weekly. How about the regular chart, 50 moving average on the weekly? Does it tend to be contentious? Well, you can see right here we hit it and rejected so far, as well as what looks to be that trend line. Now we are over the 821 EMA, but we're under the weekly 50. It's a little bit trapped. Has it done this before? Well, glad you asked. Here is August 2022. Runs up under the trend line, gets right near the 50 moving average, rejects until the end of the year where it finds its footing and then turns the corner. How about back in the day in 2018? This is the first time I ever bought XRP. I've talked about this story many a time. Thought I was going to be a millionaire when this happened. Wrong. My buttons aren't working. But he says wrong right there. Maybe y'all could hear that. Maybe you couldn't. Hold on. Nope, it's not working. I'll have to reset it. Anyway, she runs up. She smacks the 50 moving average. She dribbles south and doesn't do anything until the end of the year when it starts to try to find its footing. How about before this? Back in 2015, middle of the bear market after the big run up. She comes up, she smacks the 50 moving average, she rejects and falls all the way back down till the end of the year. There's plenty of precedent to say that this is likely to reject and fall back down to the end of the year. Is that a guarantee? No. Is it a guarantee that it'll come all the way down to the previous lows? No. Is it likely that it tests $1? No. I would say the odds are still about 50-50 if it goes back down to $1 or not. I am pretty positive we're going to get to my circle over here that I had marked out as a price action point. The question is, how much farther down does it go beyond that? This thing being trapped underneath the trend line while it's over the 8 EMA, and I appreciate it, can't stay up here forever with this kind of sell pressure. It's got to get moving again or things are going to get gnarly. The MACD is starting to curl back down. We are losing buy volume. As far as the RSI goes, super overbought and slowly working its way back down into nominal trading. This has happened before. It better hang on, because if it doesn't, it's going to really, really break some hearts. If it falls back under that 8 EMA with the very wide divergence between the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA, by the way, if it falls back down below that, it's going to break some people's hearts. Pivot lines are way down at $1.25. It blew through all of them very, very aggressively, which again leads me to believe that it needs to come back and do some back tests before anything really juicy happens. So eyes on it. I'm watching it as always. This is the number one requested, number one talked about crypto across all spaces. So we'll continue to talk about it. We got 21. All right. Back to the comments. What's up, bro? Good to see you, brother. Keith Aerotime. That's crazy. Only the OGs remember Aerotime Analytics. I still got the shirt. I should have wore it for this stream, but I was feeling my Panther stuff. All right, so I wore Panther stuff, but I should have wore the Aerotime Analytics stuff. That would have been more fun. What's up, Wildo? Good to see you. Bunny Money, 100%, dude. Still doesn't talk to me. That's fine. He probably never will again. I'm not good enough for that team. We've been in this sandbox for a long time, though, so it's all good. You know what I mean? Before I go through any other cryptos, let's jump over to SpaceX. Why am I talking about this? Well, it's important to recognize that SpaceX did something that's never done before. That's right. It's not just clickbait. It's been out since June. It made a run up. It came back down. It's kind of gotten a little bit sideways now afterwards and tried to regulate itself. Let's talk about what it's done for the first time in its history. It has, out of nowhere, jumped over the 821 EMA and, for the first time ever, over the 50-day moving average. Is the first close ever where you've got not only an 821 upward cross, not only two closes over the 821 EMA, but you also got over the 50 moving average. Fellas, ladies, people, that is all three signs that you need for the Reaper strategy. 8 EMA hit, 821 EMA buy, and over the 50 moving average. Now the Reaper strategy wants you to get that two closes in, not just one. So it wants to see one more before it throws that yellow buy sign up there. But it's the first time SpaceX has done this, and it's exciting to watch and intriguing at the same time. We pull some fibs on this thing. You'll see that we're still flirting around with bouncing off fibs that haven't really got us too far in linear under the 382, but we caught the range of the 236. So the range right here is between 130 and 150. Going to be tricky still getting through this 150 area that we talked about would be kind of difficult. It's the only resistance on the chart, but it is worth noting that this is the first time it's ever managed to get over the 50-day moving average. May it go sideways for the rest of the month? We're almost to the end of the month as it is. It's possible. We pulled fibs on this little short-term move down right here. Don't really have a defined trend line just yet, but she fell down to the 382 and bounced back over the 236. If this is a 382 bounce and go, well, that's a very, very aggressive bounce and go, and it would likely be the only one that it gets out of this move, because you usually only get one 382 retrace out of a run. Then it usually fizzles out. That being said, it would be great for it to jump that $150 level, because that would get you no longer under resistance, but flipping it into support, which would be a great thing for SpaceX. It'd be the first time it ever did it. It'd be also above that IPO price that people care so much about. It's interesting because 80% of people will never take profits on this. They'll always think they got something super special and they'll never ever want to sell it. It's whatever. You can't really argue with people. I don't really care about any of that stuff. You guys know how I do it. I'm going to follow the data. I'm going to take a buy and take a sell, and that's it. There's nothing in the world quite like taking profits. I've said this a million times, but if you don't take your profits, someone else will take them from you. So please, please don't be the fool who never gets paid. Okay? She said Rug said the sandbox. Oh, you know, I ain't forgot. You're welcome, by the way, Otto. 100 people almost on. That's dope. All right, let's jump into Binance Coin. We'll do Ethereum app. You know what? Let's do Ethereum first. That's the right thing to do. And I don't know when we stop SpaceX. Shit. I hate when this happens. Let's do 27 for SpaceX. That's not right, but I'm going to call it right. And then we'll do 31 for Ethereum. Fair? That's fair. Ethereum. A little bit better, a little bit higher up. It got over the previous high. As you see, right here was the previous high for Ethereum, and it's clear over it still, steady making its little walk up. Can it continue this price action, continue to try to make new highs? Unlike Bitcoin that I just showed you, Ethereum did not make a new high yesterday. And if you're a Forex guy, this is the exact kind of pattern you see and you want to go short on. When you see it butt its head on resistance that much, well, you take a short and you set your stop loss to the top wick, and that's where you would exit if things got ugly. And you would take your trade anywhere through here. After it hits resistance again and doesn't get through, stop loss here, and you want to take your profits on the way down. All right, you can do a match 1-to-1. Most people like 3-to-1 though, so triple that. Here we go. We go short right here. We'd set our stop loss right here, and that ratio is 4 1/4. So right about there would be, no, not quite. Right about there would be 3-to-1 win. And that would be roughly in between the 821 EMA and roughly back down to that 382 fib. And that makes a lot of sense. When you start thinking about it in terms of leverage traders, you know, it kind of opens your eyes a little bit to the fact that you're not in charge of this. You're not in control of this. You are not holding on to the steering wheel. You may be sitting behind it, but you're not in charge. You are on for the ride. I say this all the time. It doesn't matter how much money we think we have. We don't have enough to affect the market. You know, there was a time when I got up almost to $1 million. I didn't get there, but I almost got there. If I had bought something that only had $1 million market cap, well, now that would have changed something. But these assets have hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars in them, and your measly couple $1,000s is going to do nothing. Not to mention, when you see things like, well, if we all just bought at the same time, it'd make the price go up. Wrong. You're wrong. Why is that? Well, there has to be sellers for you to buy from. And you have to overwhelm those sellers. You can't just buy. If the sellers don't post anything for sale, you can't buy anything. And when you buy too much of it, they're not going to put anything for sale. They're just going to wait. All right? That's how this works. You're not in control of the market. You're always going against somebody. Remember that. And if you're not very good at it, remember before you do so that the other guy across the other side of the screen probably better than you. Do you really want to go to one-on-one with them? Probably not. So think about that kind of stuff before you do it. Right? Now, Ethereum weekly, same kind of struggle bus here, right against the weekly 50 moving average. It hasn't gotten through it yet. Prove it to me that you got the balls. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Appreciate it, Jeremy. The smart ones will spread micro orders so the price remains close to. Correct. And that way you get a better spread when you're looking for it. And then you also hear things like when a hedge fund guy will say, give me the best price possible. What does that mean? Well, find out on the chart where the best price is. Then call your broker and tell him you're not paying anything but this. And magically the price goes to that number, right? So there's so much more to this than people realize. And I won't be able to convince people of that. I just have to stick to the charts and show them with facts. Am I wrong sometimes? Yes, I'm wrong sometimes. That's part of the gig. But what you're going to find is if you go back and look at streams, we end up being right way more than we're wrong. And we do hit a wrong streak sometimes. I will be wrong multiple times. But then we'll be right multiple times. So it's part of the gig, man. Just got to sit back, breathe it all in, and take your time and don't get too flustered or upset. 35.15. 35. Got you. Binance Coin. So Binance Coin just like the other two, heading for the weekly 50 moving average. Not quite as hard to fall off as you see a little bit more controlled slide. Thing is, even though that controlled slide happened, this thing is still down 50% from its all-time high. Daily wise though, that indeed did close a new high yesterday. Unlike Ethereum, Binance Coin did better. Many assets are outperforming Ethereum because Ethereum's market cap is so high, it's harder for it to make the same gains. And you just saw Bitcoin's dominance chart earlier. It's just sort of powering over everything. Most of the money coming in is going in to Bitcoin with the highest market cap, which moves, guessed it, the slowest. That doesn't mean that it won't go up. It's been going up because more buys have come in than sales, but the others are still lagging behind. Even though they've been better and they've made more percentage, they're still lagging behind. What's up, Cody Cancel? Good to see you. Binance Coin still over the 8 EMA, so it's still performing well. Here's your RSI, just cruising overbought. Not sustainable. Here's your MACD, just cruising way the hell up there. But be warned, your buy volume is starting to fall off. Your divergence is starting to close in together. Those lines are starting to creep toward each other. Pivot points, forget it. You blew through them all. So we go to the weekly. Also forget it. You're nowhere near the pivot line at 914. You did bounce S1. These pivots don't shift until the end of the year. Do you think we're going to go all the way to 911? I doubt it. That's a long way from now. And as such, this thing's going to eventually turn range bound here. Some support back to 655 if it does want to start falling. It is still over the short-term daily trend line, so you have to respect it. It's done pretty good considering. Still not as good as the rest, but it's trying, right? It's trying. Swept the high, but didn't quite make a new high. Some did, some didn't. Ethereum did, but then it slowed down. So, like the rest, Bitcoin continues to power over them, and they're all just playing follow the leader. Solana, oh boy, look at this. She gets through this big weekly 50. Oh, let me write this down. 37, 40. She gets through this big weekly fib line right here. Impressive. That's the weekly 382 on the way back up. So, as such, let's go ahead and remove these fibs and start new ones because this looks like a clear-cut breakout. So let's drag these over here till we have some viewing room. All right, she broke through the 236. Very nice. That was 85 bucks. Now she's challenging breaking through 105 here, which would be on the way up 382. Can it hold it? It's trying. That was a very, very impressive day that it had yesterday. Really, really good recovery. And look, cruising overbought. Sustainable? Probably not. Weekly, you're not overbought. You have more room to be able to go up. The MACD is very aggressively sweeping up. Look at the buy volume on the weekly, right? Very impressive move for Solana. Weekly 50 moving average right in the way. Like the rest, you're going to have to prove it to me here that you got the stones to get through. 120 people, bro. Let's go. That's awesome. Good to see it. That's the first time we broke. No, we had 200 something on the other day. Nice. Either way, I appreciate you guys hanging out. This is awesome. Got a couple more minutes to go here. Hit that 50. Now get over the 50. Prove you got the balls. Hype. 39.15. I'm doing timestamps, fellas, if you're wondering. All right. So Hype continues to be trapped in between the 1 fib and the 1272. Had yet another good day yesterday with another new high, all the way up to the 1272 fib at 86 bucks. If you remember last stream on Tuesday, I said, can this hit the $86 mark? Yes, it can. And guess what? It sure enough did. What do you know? It's almost like we had the data to show us that that was going to happen. Cruising overbought, probably not sustainable, but it continues to go up. Your divergence continues to stay wide, even with dropping buy volume, meaning you're having no new buyers coming in. These are kind of the same old buyers, not really throwing the meter into spin mode, just kind of cruising. Can it get through more fibs? It's going to have to close over 1272 to prove to me that it wants 90 bucks. Could this thing get all the way to 100 before this is over? Gosh, man, that would be really, really, really impressive for Hype. One of the better performing assets in the crypto market space. The weekly is almost overbought. Did you see that? Wow. In a bear market. It's really, really impressive. Must tip your hat to it. That's all there is to it. We'll do a couple more and then we're out of here, brother. Here is XMR on the weekly. Another really good weekly shaping up for XMR, which is Monero. In case you didn't know, this thing's been around for a really long time as well. We'll pull fibs about there from the high to the low. We'll drop this trend line off. It's broken no matter what. And here's our new trend line. XMR powering north. You're almost to the weekly 50 moving average at 483, roughly 500. If we drop this in linear, you'll see that 486 is the 382. So in my opinion, that's likely that we get up here to that level at 482 to 483, call it 485. 485, Charlotte, you guys know. Oof, one of the worst ever. Daily, now overbought. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth time overbought. XMR showing that it could care less, doesn't want to stop. I'm extremely impressed with it. That's XMR. Last one, fellers. ZC. Ugly 4 hours forming. You're right. I was looking at that before I got on the stream. ZC all the way to the 1414 and has since rejected. We've talked about this a little bit. She's still hovering over the 8 EMA. Again, if you're a Forex guy, this is a short pattern that you're looking for and going, this thing could come way back down with all that inefficiency. That was a very aggressive move up with no retraces. It's quite possible that this thing comes all the way back down to clear said inefficiencies, all the way back down through here. Can it get there? Well, it fully can get there. Baby steps, though. If you look, huge overbought. Now back down into nominal trading. Does this mean it's going to slow down from its big monster wave up? We'll see. Divergence is starting to close a little bit on your MACD. That means more shorts coming in. Sell volume is increasing. Buy volume is dropping. Maybe a potential sign that some stuff is ready to take a breath. XRP, after we've been talking, by the way, is starting to bearish engulf, but still over the 8 EMA. Worth talking about. Now, haven't told anybody this, but let's do it, right? On my birthday, I don't ask for gifts. I'm not a gift taker. My birthday, I don't really celebrate for myself. It's not a holiday that I care that much about. I'm just getting older at this point and slowing down more. It's not something fun to talk about. So rather than receive, I like to give. So right now, over in our Discord, free link, wap.com/team786 right here. $0 for the next 2 weeks. It's absolutely free for anyone to join. Click the link in wap.com/team786 for a free general admission. General admission has access to the main chat, Keith's trades only, and Keith's charts shared. I share every single chart over in Discord constantly, all day, 24/7, nonstop, 365 from awake. I'm probably looking at charts, and I share those jokers right back over there in Discord for everybody to be able to see. So no matter who you are, for the next 2 weeks, totally can get access to everything I say and do. It's all over there. It's all yours to see. I hope everyone takes advantage of it. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's fine. But my gift to you, my gift to everyone. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate y'all being here, man. We will be back. Be back next week, Tuesday. We don't say Tuesday. We say Tuesday. That's how we do it in the South. I appreciate y'all watching. I should be dead or in jail. Instead, it's my birthday, and I'm still here. So I'm going to make the most of it. Thank you, guys. I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Y'all be good, man. I'm out. Sky's the limit. Peace.